Hey, great day, everyone, and welcome to the bonus live stream. Today, we are going to be talking about manifesting more money, especially as it relates to having a private practice. But I want to be very candid from the beginning. We are going to, as we have done over the last week, we are going to do a very raw, unfiltered conversation about what is happening in the private practice realm, business realm for mental health professionals. I'm going to bring on one of my good friends. She is definitely a bonus to our community and a blessing that came right on time about 2 years ago. She is known as the 9 to 5 exit slayer. I don't have a laundry list in front of me, but just to name a few of some of the things that she's helped our clients with, she has helped our clients transition on the operations paperwork side, like entity structure, getting them help with their business bank account setups, financial forecasting. She's helped the therapists from solo practice. She's clearly helped the ones who want to go into solo practice, but maybe they need more time. And some people are actually, we're going to talk about that today, being okay with going slow. Lamone talked about that the other day too. She does taxes for some of our clients, bookkeeping. She works very intimately with our community if you do sign up for her services outside of our program, because I also recognize that that is not my genius zone, that's hers. And so I always go on a mission to make sure that if our clients are asking for something, once a resource comes across my desk per se, which my beautician told me about her because she go to her to get her hair done too. And so, my beautician had been telling me about her for like a couple of months. And I said, you know what? I need some help in this area, but let me ask for my clients. And make a long story short, she has done workshops throughout the year for our programs. She works with our clients individually outside of our program. And then she also presented on business credit at our conference in Las Vegas last year. And so I want to welcome to the stage Marisa from YSP Solutions, the 9 to 5 exit slayer.
Oh, microphone back here. Jesus. I don't need the microphone.
All right. So let's introduce our viewers to yourself. So where are you located? And a little bit about your background that I knew about that attracted me to your services to begin with.
Let's see. So my name is Marisa Cotton. Named myself the 9 to 5 exit slayer. I specialize in helping entrepreneurs to properly transition from their 9 to 5 to their business full time by equipping them with the proper strategy, tactics, and financial knowledge they need for clarity and a smooth transition. We have 2 hub offices now, one here in Los Angeles, California. We also now have a hub office in Monroe, Louisiana, which we do travel to a couple of times a year. I'm actually going there next month as well. I help with taxes, bookkeeping, accounting, human resources, operational support, strategy, how to structure your business, just breaking it all down per se. Business formation, when you should become an S corp, why you should not become an S corp, how to save on your taxes, things you can and cannot write off. No Starbucks every morning just because you drop the business card off is not a write off. So I help with all of that, and I help business and finances make sense.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I've utilized your services since I met you, and I'm just like, gosh, every time I talk to you and we have our meetings, I tell my husband, like, oh, I feel so relieved, because to be honest, like one of the bigger questions that comes up in our community around just, we call it a money team or a money person designated to your business is, we treat other people for trust issues, right? As therapists and underlying trauma. But then what I find is that therapists have a very difficult time, some of them, trusting other people to actually look at their finances. And I admitted on the, other day, like I'm very open in terms of on my podcast and in our community. I usually tell them the testimony clearly after it's over. But as an entrepreneur, we go through various seasons up and down. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. And the biggest thing that I've learned over time is to find at least one person that can point you in the right direction and help you get the help, even if they can't get you the help, and let people know the real deal. Because if not, you're going to suffer in silence. And I know when I met you, I'd had some issues with like entity structure issues, IRS back stuff, and it got cleared up. But if I would have tried to do it on my own, we would have had issues with Uncle Sam, because it's just simply
Mhm.
we don't know how to file taxes and things like that on our own. So I did give them the intro that you've worked with some of our clients. What kind of work have you done with our clients at like different levels?
Let's see. I have helped them. Let's start from the beginning. Business formation, everything really, up into Dr. TK. Business formation, helping them to structure their business, knowing if they should become an LLC, if it's more profitable for them right now to stay a sole proprietor and not cross over into the LLC, because
Mhm,
some states it can become quite pricey.
mhm,
Also, in determining if it's time for them to become an S corp or not. A lot of people, when you go online, social media tells you become an S corp, you save on taxes, become an S corp. But what you don't know is that if you're not making the right numbers and have the right goals in mind, then you're actually spending more money becoming an S corp than saving money. So it's kind of helping them to understand that. I don't just tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I also break it down for them so you understand. Because at the end of the day, if you stop working with me or something should happen, whatever the case is, at the end of the day, even with the IRS, they're going to call you. They're not going to call me. And it's
mhm.
your business, it's not mine. So you need to know what's going on in your business. I also help with bookkeeping and accounting. Every November, I want to say November at the end of the year, we do profit plans. Profit plans are my favorite because it helps you to know what it is you need to do to make the money you want to make next year. We
Mhm,
break it all the way down.
mhm,
Bookkeeping, accounting, taxes. And let me
mm,
just tell you, I've worked for TurboTax Intuit for 3 years. TurboTax is not your friend. Okay. You would not believe that more people get audited that do their taxes on TurboTax than
mm.
any other platform.
Oh,
Okay,
well.
I know it's easy. Y'all getting back these $15,000 credits because I don't know what y'all doing, the numbers y'all putting in, but trust me, it is not worth it. Okay, so also educate you on your taxes. I don't just do your taxes. I'll walk you through where you could have saved money, where you spent too much money. Now you know that is not a write off. We gonna work it out. We gonna sprinkle a little pixie dust, but we
Mhm,
work it out and do what we got to do. Also up to tax planning, super super important. As you're reaching more of those six figures and you're spending too much money in taxes, we also look at tax planning. Tax planning is about figuring out where you can put your money now to save for later so that you're not giving it all to Uncle Sam. Whether it's
mhm.
paying your kids, someone in your family for working with you, whether it's a 401k, Roth IRA, it's tons, I won't say tons, um, over 50
Mhm.
different tax strategies that we can utilize to help you save money in your business strictly through tax planning. This year, I had someone who had actually with your platform, had a $17,000 federal tax bill. By
Yeah.
the time we got through moving things around, breaking things down, kind of really digging in, her tax bill was only $6,000.
Oh, that's good. So lower than
So
50%.
yes. So in other words, that plus she had saved it up, so she did save up for that money for
Good.
taxes. But the good thing is now she put it back in her business, buy her something nice, whatever it is. She
Mm,
got a nice little chunk left.
mhm.
So,
Well, can we talk about the last part you just said about the saving it up? Because I know that's something that I learned the hard way. Then I attempted to pay it forward, even when I had interns back in the day where I was able to do contractor as
mhm.
therapist in California, and then rules changed for good reason, right? But I remember I would tell my interns, like, even though over the month you're getting, let's just say, $2,000 because you saw like part-time clients or whatnot, please save like 25 to 30%. And they were like, but I'm buying a laptop. I said, but you ain't got no business structure. Like, you have nothing to write it off on. I'm just paying you. I'm not paying a company. And I remember the young lady went to my tax person at the time, and at the end of the year, she had owed like $2,500. And she was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I didn't think I was going to owe this amount of money. I had a write off, I thought, for a laptop. And I'm like, what did you not hear? In all of our consultation meetings and all those things. But it just makes me think about even beyond interns, because that doesn't really come up that much with interns because they're now W 2. Is this is happening back to back to back. I know with it was happening with our mastermind students where they did not have the proper entity structure. They were not saving money. They did not even have a business bank account. And so, can you provide some education about those therapists who may be just starting a private practice? They just want to maybe be a DBA W-9, but like, what should they be doing when they're getting the $150 from the client or the $100 from the insurance panel?
Come see me first. So we can break this down. We're gonna make it make sense. First and foremost, know that one big mistake that a lot of people that I've seen a lot of people do is we know you want to put away for taxes, right? So let's say this month you made $1,000. From that $1,000, they automatically think, oh, let me take 30% and put that away. That's $300. And then they go back and they deduct their expenses, pay themselves, and etc. What they don't realize is that You go through, you take out your expenses from that 1,000. So if those
Mhm.
expenses, let's just say 500, because I'm trying to make these numbers easy. $500, that means you only have 500 left,
Mhm.
which means out of that 500, that's where you pay yourself taxes and really pay yourself in taxes. Everything should be already deducted. Your taxes come out of the money after expenses. However, if you are an LLC not taxed as an S corp, you cannot write off your salary. So you're paying taxes
Mm.
on that money. But if you are an S corp, that's different. But just know that you're taking the 30% or whatever you're putting away for taxes off the net amount after
Mm.
expenses, not your gross. Another
Mm.
thing you want to do is not only putting away for taxes, you need to start to budget. If you're new to the practice, you need to really learn budgeting. I know you're like, oh, I'm just making money, it's on the side, is this, is that. Budgeting is super, super, super important. One thing I've seen is that people, they get shiny object syndrome. And so they see people like Dr. TK, they see some people in your network that may be doing great, just started their practice or maybe a year or so ago. Do not
Mhm.
place your 2-month-old practice
Hmm.
in the feet of someone that's been in practice 3, 4 years. You're not there yet,
Say that
and you
again.
don't really understand the obstacles, the money, the systems that you use that didn't work, the you spent on this class and for this and for that that didn't pan out, that you're wasting money on. You need to budget yourself and plan accordingly so that you can properly scale your business. If not, you will not believe the amount of it can, most of it's a write-off, right? But when you rather have some of that money back in your pocket than wasted money that you really didn't use.
Mhm. That part, the use part, because I
Mhm.
want people to hear, and I'm gonna ask some blatant questions that I already prepped her for because I want people to make the right decisions. We're not like our community is very abnormal compared to other, I'm gonna say, coaching
Mhm.
companies. Meaning, I will not be the person that says, "Yeah, all of y'all just come on in." Like, absolutely not, because I don't want you calling me saying I made a mistake. Meaning, not me, but you. Like, you made a mistake joining, because people know themselves best, right? And sometimes it's
Mhm.
harder to sit on the other side of the couch, to like evaluate: do you have shiny object syndrome? Do you just swipe your card, swiping happy? And the biggest question I would think that would come up when you meet with somebody like Marisa is, did you get your ROI back? I mean, hell, did you even break even? Like, if you spend $10 on how to use hashtags for social media when that was a thing, I mean, did you at least earn $50 back by somebody clicking the link in your bio? Like, how do you track when you
Mhm.
put in an investment, what you got out of it? Because I know even for me, I mean, I've invested as low as $10. I've invested as high as 24K. But please note, I wasn't investing 24K when I was making $1,000. You know what I'm saying? I was
Right.
investing 24K when the business was projecting over 600,000. And so
Mhm.
again, if I were to compare myself to, oh my God, I want to be like that person and make that amount of money and make that amount of impact. I want to give back to my community. All those are great. But what she is saying is come and talk to her first about your plan so that she can help you create the plan to get there. And then you can create like your investment account of how much you
Right.
should be investing. Therefore, when I come across, it ain't no surprise either. Because that's where I feel like a lot of our prospective DTA students or any other program that we have, they don't even know that your services exist, my services exist, Dr. Roche's services exist. They don't know that we're here and that we go so much in detail. And then what
Mhm.
tends to happen is they'll say no, 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 no sometimes. And they need the help. And
Mhm.
so we just want to be clear. We are saying two things. Shiny object syndrome, our services are not made for everybody. Because even with yourself, if somebody gets on your calendar, you want somebody who's serious, right?
Right.
About like,
No,
with
that's true.
integrity, you know?
That is true.
Um, so I know some of their backgrounds because they had questions during the boot camp where they told us like what their status was. So I know this is a whole program, but let's just say someone's at a 9 to 5 job or they're in someone else's group practice and they wanted to meet with you to transition out. What are some things like what's 3 things that they should consider or look at in their back office, their house, their bank account or whatever before they leave? Like
Number
before
one,
they
first and foremost, a game plan. I know the
Mhm.
game is to leave, to prosper, to be a successful business owner. Yes, that is great. But before we get to Z, we gotta talk about B, C, D, E, and F, and don't forget about J, K, and L, M, N, O, P too. We gotta do L, M, N, O, and P. The point is to have a game plan, like a business plan. It doesn't even have to be like the 20-page business plan, but have a plan. Another thing is your business structure. You need to understand your business structure, and you need to have goal and money, goals and money. And I don't mean cashing out your 401k. I am 125% against cashing out your 401k to go full time in your business. You better not.
Oh gosh.
Better not.
I had
Because
somebody tell
here's
that to
why.
me, and I was like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
No, because here's why. Okay, so you cashed out this money, right? Let's just say it was 15, 20, 25K. That's fine. You're like, oh, pay these bills off real quick, buy this new computer, fix up my office so my background could be good when I'm online. But what happens when your car just broke down? Or it got in an accident, you didn't get that gap insurance, and now you got this bill due.
Mm,
Oh, you got two kids, you just popped up pregnant with a third. Oh, your husband just left you and he left you with the mortgage and all the bills. Like, life happens. And I think we all know, between pre-COVID to COVID to now, life has happened so much for so many of us on so many different levels in so many different ways. The
yeah.
reason why I say don't cash out your 401k, because that is your life bucket.
Mm,
That's your I have nothing else. Where can I get something from? If you've cashed that out to go full time in your business, so now you don't have a 9 to 5 with benefits and you need benefits, you need the surgery, you need this, you need that. You have nothing else to fall back on.
that's good.
So I'm totally against that. But yes, to answer the question, before you think about leaving your 9 to 5, have a game plan, a business
Mhm,
plan, a game plan, a profit plan, what it is you're trying to do with your business. You're trying to start solo, you're trying to jump into group practice, you want to eventually get to group practice. How many years? What are the numbers you're trying to make? Number two,
mhm,
have a that's three. Number two, have a savings. Your
mhm,
savings needs to be at least 3 to 6 times what your bills are. And I say that because your business is going to take ramp up time. You got to remember that you're going from a 9 to 5, which you may or may not have been making a lot of money, but with all these benefit perks and things like that, to solely being on your own. What
mm.
happens when your private clients or your clients stop showing up, or when they start missing sessions? Because unlike your 9 to 5, you still got paid because you came in today.
Hmm.
When they don't show up, the insurance ain't gonna say, "Whoop, they didn't show up, but here's fifty
Exactly.
dollars for you." They're not gonna do
Exactly.
that for you. In addition to that, your business setup. You have to understand your business setup and where you're going with it. Sometimes it is best to just stay a sole proprietor before formatting your business with as an LLC. Sometimes it's best to be an LLC. Some of you guys have just popped up and have been working this 9 to 5 that y'all been at so long that they don't give you much work, so you don't grew this other business, and you can go straight to an S corp. But
Mhm,
speak to someone that is financially literate in your field of genius to help you to understand your numbers. And I have to say, the biggest thing is going to be numbers, because
mhm,
at the end of the day, the number of clients, the number of money you make, and the number of money you have. I know
mhm.
that's not in sense, but
Yeah,
numbers is super important. So you need to be able to understand them, and you need to have a game plan.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're bringing this up. Imma bring up my team. So we've been having a lot of powwows, as you know, about just trying to figure out what's happening in the therapist culture. Because something has transitioned over the last 4 years. And I know that, like you said, life has been lifing, changes, occur. But like I said earlier, we just can't outright blame like inflation for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody had a problem before inflation, inflation just made it bigger, because
Hmm.
like let's just say our business slowed down, right? I can blame inflation, or I can say, well, you know what? Inflation did happen and it does impact some people making the decision to join our program. However, am I getting in front of the right people? Are you getting in front of the right clients? Are you studying the marketing material that you purchased last year that you don't even log into the portal? And so part of our team meeting this morning, I had asked my team to go look at our accountability reports. And I said, out of curiosity, I wonder how many therapists are only solely focused on my whole practice got to be private pay. And what tends to happen in times like this, depending on what clientele you serve and how really good you are at therapy and how good you are at getting new clients, you may find some people may find their practice has plateaued, if not went down. Because if your money is funny, odds are your client's money is funny, which means their job's money is funny or they got laid off. And so I say all that to say that I wanted to introduce the therapist while I had you on here. Instead of looking at it like I only want to do private pay because that's guaranteed cash, um, it's not guaranteed. Like it's not guaranteed
It's
even like a
not.
9 to 5. And so think about it in buckets of three. Okay. I'm just going to tell y'all the three streams of income because I know that you see it when you do their numbers, but we don't really talk about it like this. The first stream of income that a private practice has is private pay. The
Mhm.
second stream of income that I teach to, and I say, if you already on a panel, keep one in your back pocket. If you say I want to get off all of them, I show them in a bonus workshop, like look at your numbers and all those kind of things. I don't want to say too much here, but keep one in your back pocket that you can go back to. You can just pause and let them know you don't want clients right now, but you can always go back to them. That's another stream because they about to send you
Mhm.
people. And then the
Mhm.
third stream is EAPs, where a lot of people sleep on EAPs because they don't pay a lot. But if this is how I started my private practice when I was working in the county, I just wanted practice running my own business. And who better to practice with than short-term clients, where there's no diagnoses required? Like, these are things that y'all don't think about, or some of you all are very new to practice, so you don't know. But write those
Mhm.
down. What's one EAP panel I can get on? And you can, if you're in our community, you can just ask people who's in your state. But
Mhm.
I say all that because all of those things to me will balance out someone being able to increase their revenue in their business. And then with your help over time, they can say, my goal in 12 months, like, it's like leaving a job. My goal in
Mhm.
12 months is to do
Exactly.
nothing but private pay. So then that's when I'm sure you're going to look at, well, how many private pay clients you got right now? Because you only got one. So what are you not doing? I know you in a
Mhm.
TK program. I know she teaches this. What you not doing?
Mhm.
But then we don't want, and my team member said, maybe they don't want to get called out. I said, oh, I know they don't, because we have degrees around here. We're going to be all the way real today, because this is a real big issue. We tell people or teach people what to do, and we don't go get help ourselves. That is a problem, you know? So we talked a little bit about the 9 to 5, even though I know you got a whole program for that. um, when you mentioned budgeting money. I'm going to give another example. Let's just say someone met with you next week and they have a private practice already, but I don't know what their numbers look like. And they say, I'm thinking about joining this program or getting some type of help. What are red flags that you may see that you may tell the person, absolutely not? It is not the time to invest.
Not having an expense budget, because if your expenses in your business are going to go up and down as it is. If you don't have a budget on that, how are you going to increase said none budget, to include additional programs?
Hmm.
If you are a 100% entrepreneur and you're struggling in your business, you might want to rethink buying into programs, because until your finances are stable, why would you put another bill on your plate?
Hmm. Hmm.
All in all, is really going back to numbers,
Yeah.
really looking at your numbers and knowing what you have on your plate. How are you trying to grow a practice, but you're trying to double down? So you're seeing 40 clients a week, still got to do notes, still got to market, still got to work your back office, still got to handle your billing, but you don't take a program that you don't have time for, and you're already tired from all these years of school. I'm sick
Yeah.
of school. I can't go back no more. But knowing your limits and knowing your numbers are the two most important things, and knowing not to overdo it. I know shiny object is great. I know this program is going to get me to the next level. And maybe if I tie in this program and then this one too, and then put all these three together, like bam, I know I'm about to hit six figures.
Hmm.
Take your time with these programs. Take one program at a time. And once you take that program, I won't say master it, but master it
Yeah.
before you jump to another one. Don't just go to the next coach hopping. Y'all don't stop coach hopping.
Oh, that's good.
Pick a
Coach.
coach. Pick a coach. Okay, here's the thing. Even it's like a math teacher. Even
Mhm.
though everybody's going to teach you that 2 plus 2 equals 4, let's do 2 times 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. Well, if they were double digits, everybody has a different way to getting that answer sometimes.
Mhm.
Everybody has a different way of explaining it. And if you try to take this concept and this concept and this concept, it might actually screw you up more than actually help you.
Mhm.
Everybody has a different way of teaching. Do your due diligence. I can vouch for Dr. TK. I done seen the inside, back office, or finances. She done made me cry. I done said, Dr. TK, we gonna fight. So, I've seen it all. But do your due diligence and pick someone.
Yeah.
Pick and stick with, make sure that if you decide not to go with them anymore, make sure it's them and not you. Because a lot of times it's actually you. You're
Mm.
not doing the work. You're not putting in the time, and your expectations for what you expect to get versus what you're putting in doesn't match up.
Yeah. That's huge right there. Like, I know some people are commenting, like we talked about over the last couple of days, like ego. Um,
Mhm.
being service providers, but like being careful that we're not hypocrites. And my biggest thing, as you know, is like integrity. So like if
Mhm.
I go through situations, whether it's personal or business, I get the help that I need. I may sit in pride for a little bit because I'm human, but at some point I'm going to break. Right. And
Mhm.
we have to know that when you break, other things around you break as well. And so,
Mhm.
it's okay to get help, but I'm glad that you're mentioning like numbers, 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 because even if y'all don't like math, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you better learn how to like at least basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and percentages. Because if you, I ain't talking about like trigonometry, but if you don't know like basic math and you can't stand it, even if you say, well, you teach delegation, I mean, you got to build, you have to withhold your own capacity first and do the work
Mhm.
first before you even delegate. You have to make money to then delegate.
Mhm.
Even if you want to volunteer, you need a volunteer contract, so you got to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad that you mentioned that because as I mentioned earlier, we are not normal in terms of like what we tell people like they should be doing. Like, no, you pick the best fit. However, I do want to insert this. Everybody should take some time, whether it's today or next week, to figure out, like I said on day one, what is it that you really want? Because how you painted the picture of the person who is maybe tired of doing progress notes and working 40 hours a week, I can see that being two different types of people. So I can see that being a person like, I'm a to my own horn. If that's me and I'm just like, this is my rock bottom and I don't like it, that's when I go in hustle mode. So you can't stop me.
Mhm.
But I know myself though. But then it's the other person who psychs themselves out and believe that if I pay, then all of a sudden I'm gonna be born a hustler. You 35 and you ain't been a hustler your whole life, like in your mindset. So paying $300 or $3,000 is not gonna automatically wake you up. And I just want
Mhm.
people to understand that you can, I'm not gonna say have a lot on your plate, but you just gotta know, as you mentioned, your capacity and also know what you're willing to put in, as you mentioned, because you can't pay and then say the program did not work for you. You did not work it. And you knew what your situation was before you joined, and you knew you weren't going to give 100%. And what we're saying is if you work with her, you work with us, or anyone else, you should be swiping your card when you're ready to do 100% of the work, which means
Mhm.
you do your homework. And that's why we do platforms like this so that y'all can spend intimate time this week and next week in the Facebook group asking questions. Like, stay
Mhm.
until the end because I am gonna have my team put something, well, let me mention it now. Because we know, Marisa, that a lot of people don't like to ask questions in front of other people. You didn't roll my eyes. What I'm going to do is open up my calendar tomorrow morning, literally for like 2 hours, 15 minutes each. And then I'm opening up my calendar. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but until y'all go eat barbecue, you sitting at home. So I'm gonna open it up on Saturday and Monday morning for those people who are shy, who maybe don't want to ask their question in front of the Facebook group or here. But you do want to know if DTA is the right fit, even from a mindset perspective, because I can sniff through fluff of like
Mhm.
what you put on the form to get on my calendar
Mhm. Mhm.
and then what you say, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but I want y'all to hear what she's saying because you do have to make the best financial decision for the future version of you too. And don't set yourself up to
Mhm.
fail. Um, Now I know you've been working with a lot of our clients. Um, can we talk a little bit about the trends of maybe why some therapists are living check to check? Like, what do you think?
And
Like,
left their job too early.
okay, because I'm like, I just want to hear from your perspective. Because what I want to tell people when we work with her and another team, whatever they do with y'all is confidential. That's y'all contractual services. But I do go to
Mhm.
them about every quarter and say, can you give me the themes of what's happening so I can A, present it to the newer people, but B, I can also talk about the mindset attached to that thing while we're in our program. Cause like kids, they're not gonna bring it up.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I'm
tell
so
me
what she said, yeah. I
on
don't
that.
tell her what y'all do or did or what y'all have and don't have. But we do give her just about storylines of some things that may be going on so that she can better serve her community, better understand the type of people, type of therapists that are coming with her to work, so she know how to better serve you and to help you out with what you need. Because like she said, not everybody like to ask questions. So we kind of sometimes gotta go around the dark and help her feel her way through some things. So yes, the information is confidential when working with me. Um, but I may, may give her some clues, some hints, and some situations. But I
Yeah.
don't tell her who. Okay, don't
Yeah.
tell her male or female, who, what state, or nothing. Okay, just let you know.
Yeah.
Common things that I see, honestly, is leaving their job too soon. That is the biggest one. People like, oh, I'm sick of this job. I know I can make more in my practice, and I already got this practice going, or my private practice, I'm ready to grow it. So, my job is getting in my way. No, no, it's not. What
Mm,
you didn't do is you need to use your job to replace that income, yes. But until you've actually matched and exceeded, why are you
mm.
leaving?
That
Until you
part.
have that game plan, those other things I put in place first. Why? Because you're tired of a girl, you're tired because you're trying to get to the Z over here. But then I tell you, you got to go through L, M, N, and O first. Y'all try to go L, M, and O. You can't do that. You got to go one, two. Don't mind me, y'all. Okay. They done gave me sugar. Don't mind me. But you got to take your time. Another thing is, it goes back to the numbers. Proper budgeting. People are overspending in their business and under making in
Mm,
their business. And they think, oh, I could just take a loss at the end of the year on my taxes, and it'll be okay. It's my first year in business. How your bills think about that? You get your nails done every day, because see, your nails and your hair is not a business write-off. You know, I mean, there are some ways where it can be, but for the normal everyday practice, it's not a business write-off.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Just because you have to DoorDash because you're working from home every day or from the office, it's not a business write-off, because IRS says you got to eat anyway. Why I got to pay for it?
Mm.
You at home, you could have went and fixed your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Go to the grocery store when you get off work. Okay. Um, but leaving your job too early and budgeting those numbers, those are the two biggest things that I see. And again, over expectations. And it's kind of like Dr. TK say, it's knowing who you are. It's two people when it comes to therapist practice or therapists. Those are private practice people and private contractor people. It's
Mm,
okay to not want to work a 9 to 5 corporate job. I'm not saying that you have to do that. The thing is that sometimes private contractor people are best working for other small practices,
that's
still
good.
being independent and still, making your own money, making your own schedule, as under those perimeters, and still having that freedom. And then there's a second person who is actually good with private practice. The
Mhm,
difference between the two is that one takes a lot more time. It's not a small
mm,
difference. It takes more time. It takes more money. It takes marketing, because you have this whole thing. So now either you have to learn marketing, you have to learn back office, you have to learn billing. If you do your bookkeeping yourself, you have to learn that, or you have to make enough money to pay people to do these things for you.
mm.
So
That's
it's
that's
okay to
that's
know
good.
that, yeah, it's okay to know if you should be good in private practice or if you should just be a private contractor. Because there
Mhm.
are a lot of private practices that want to grow their practice with people with freedom schedules like you that I just want to see 20, 25 clients. I'm a stay at home mom. I just want to work 30, or, I want to dig in. I just don't want to go to the corporate office. I
Mhm.
don't want the corporate politics and the corporate world. But go ahead and give me these 30 to 40 clients a week, and I can see them. Give me my money on the back end. Let me go about my business. We can be W-2 or we can be 1099. It doesn't mean you have to stay in corporate,
That's good.
but it does not necessarily mean that you have to have your own full practice.
I'm really glad I never thought about it with that terminology, and I'm really glad that you said it because I think of individuals who may even be currently in someone else's practice, and I know this has come up in the DTA community, just a few times, but I did some podcast episodes on it. And I had talked to them about because I was a group practice owner and I know what it feels like to be burned, AKA someone wants to come in with the anticipation of opening up their own private practice in the next year. And they really, really think, like my whole face be changing when they ask this question. Like, you really think that the owner needs to or should tell you how to run a practice? They are not your first mentor. They are your employer. And their baby per se is their entity structure that's even separate from them. So if their entity structure collapses, probably so does them. So a group
Hmm.
practice or is the agency. And
Hmm.
I'm just really glad because it speaks to like what we've been talking about on the boot camp is, do you want to be a business owner or a business owner?
Hmm.
Me and Roche laugh about that because the business owner is a side hustler and all we're saying is own who you are, own who you want to be, and that becomes your genius zone. Like what I do
Hmm.
with the nonprofit, let me just say this for people who are at 9 to 5. The way I set myself up so good, and it's a bonus in DTA in that speakers kit thing that I told y'all about. I set myself up so good. Y'all got to create relationship capital. You must, right? Do not, I'm gonna add this to your 9 to 5 thing. Do not burn bridges. Do not be like, I can't stand admin, deuces. Like, no, still go
That's
out.
day 4. That's day 4 of the
Oh,
program. I talk about that. Do
okay, because I'm
not burn.
like,
And let me give the perfect example to that real
yeah,
quick.
please.
So you leaving your job, right? This is my last day. You know what? I didn't like Betty over there in the corner anyway. So on my way out, I'm about to bite this apple, take it. I'm gonna throw it at her and tell her where she can put it. But check this out though. So you go get this contract, right? So you about to work with this agency, right? As your private practice, do some services for them. You go get this contract. The person who has the say so of this $100,000 contract is Betty's husband.
It's Betty.
You don't think Betty went home and told him about what you did, and now your name came up? You just lost $100,000 because you didn't know how to act.
Mm-hmm.
And secondary, you never know what's going to happen in your business.
Yeah.
What if you have to go back to that business? What do you have to go back there part time just to make a couple of more dollars just to get back on the other side of things because things fell through?
Mm-hmm.
Don't burn your bridges because you never know when you need them.
Yeah, and this is all positions.
Never
I mean,
know.
I like when I went back and forth through the county, because I don't really talk about this part like on the podcast, but I remember when I went back and forth, like I left the county the first time, and then when I came back, it wasn't a cool situation. But I left both times for the same reason. It was more admin not taking care of staff to then,
Mhm.
so we can be able to serve. And it was interesting that I had a clinical supervisor job because I really I know myself. I need my fix as a psychologist. I do business coaching for therapists, but I know where my areas of fulfillment are, right? And one of my areas of fulfillment is at least 4 to 5 hours a week as a psychologist. So I can do that sometimes with
Mhm.
therapists when we talk about mindset. Like this boot camp has filled my cup, right? Because it's paying it forward. But today I just got back from being in LA and I just scheduled myself out like for 2 months to do workshops. But guess what, y'all? I was just telling my team and Marisa the other day, I miss doing therapy sometimes so much when my cup isn't being filled. I can always go back to EAP providers. If I don't really want to market to private pay, I know what insurance panel is going to pay me 150. And so
Mhm.
I did not burn bridges and I can call them and say, I know it's going to take probably 6 months or 3 months, but give me back credential through CAQH, so you
Mhm.
don't want to burn your bridges. Cause another example, I don't think you work with her, but one of our ECM students 2 years ago, she was contemplating on leaving her job and she took a year to leave because she wanted to build her solo to group practice. So she took her
Mhm.
time. And I told her, do you actually want to leave or do you just want to start your own business? Because those are two different things. And
Two
she was
different
like, I
things.
still want to have a relationship with them because I never know if I want to do part-time work. I said, okay, cool. I said, so I know you're not going to burn bridges, but let's start creating that relationship capital and putting that filler out there, of course, after you tell them you're leaving because they're not going to be happy. So please know
Mhm.
people don't have to be happy with you leaving. So get out of your head. Like, oh my God, they not grateful. You leaving a damn company, which means they losing money. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Because they got to
And
hire somebody to do your job all over again, and train them all over again.
exactly. That's money, right? So,
Mhm.
but people don't understand that until they go and run their own stuff. And so what ended up happening because she left gracefully is upon her leaving, they asked her not just to do part-time, because she said, can I do like 10 to 15 hours a week? They asked her to do part-time and they were going to pay her more than her full-time job as a contractor. Now she thought about it. She sat on it. I actually had her go into our Facebook group and say, can you share this? Because people scared to like do stuff like this. And all you have to do is
Mhm.
ask. And she
Mhm.
ended up a couple of months later not doing it because she realized her capacity with a group practice with like 3 therapists under her belt. But all I'm trying to say and all Marisa is trying to say is l- make sure to take her program and like stack up to leave. One thing that we haven't talked about, because I know some of these people are at a 9 to 5, is I call it shark tanking. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned it earlier, but shark tanking some of your overflow from a job to pay for your investments. That's what a lot of our DTA students did like 2 years ago. They didn't get up and lead a job. The pandemic got some of y'all food. Like, to be all the way real, like the Instagrammers got y'all fooled. Okay. These
Ooh,
Facebook
y'all
ads.
wouldn't believe how many of them are actually struggling. Talking about, I'm doing good. They are in a rented jet. They are in Airbnb. That is not their
Think
apartment.
about it.
Like you, it's marketing. It's the fluff. It's to try to get you that. Hey, here's the brighter side of things. But you have people like Dr. TK that says, hey, here's the brighter side. But let me tell you about these low downs we have to go through first. Like it's you got to know how to go between the fluff. And I think me learning about marketing, I hate marketing by the way, but me learning about marketing, I kind of see through people when they sell into me. So it's
Mhm.
harder to sell to me now, unless I just really want it. But.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be able to read through the fluff.
Yeah, yeah. So I know some people are in the very beginning of their private practice journey. So maybe you're because I know we've talked a lot about people who already had a practice, but for those of you who are at a 9 to 5 outside of your exit plan, if that's your desire, because you can just desire to have a part-time business and that's fine. DTA can still help you. But I also want you, as Marisa has said, look at your budgeting. And if you're an overflow because you do have a job and it is guaranteed hours, whether you work or not, Loki, at some of these places, if you are in it for the marathon. Because please note, the reason why we're talking about this also is that your ROI in your bank account may not be as fast as other people. Okay. So some people can come into DTA and get a client in a week. Some people may take 60 days. It just really depends on your relationship capital. Because what some people don't tell you is that they fill their caseload based off of other relationships, word of mouth. But if you don't ask the right questions, you may just assume this program ain't working for me or I can't fill in my caseload. The market ain't right. No, you don't know the right people. You haven't sat on the right stages because you don't want to market. You don't want to show your face. You don't want to show your voice. You know what I'm saying? And all of these are, whether it's time or money, it's going to cost you to run a business. Okay. Um, so let me go down my little questions. Let's talk about the benefit. Because I know you've been in coaching programs too. So like you're coming from both ends, like the receiving end as a student, but also from the financial side of like looking at when people should make these decisions. What are the benefits of people who can invest and then they do the work?
Your ROI, it will speak for itself. You have proper guidance. It's hard to run a business. Being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. Whether it's a side hustle or something you're trying to pursue full time, it's hard. It's not for the weak, especially when you got kids. It is not. They have no boundaries. Um, they have no boundaries. Mine don't. But I would have to say, considering the fact that exactly having someone to help lead you and guide you. So it's kind of like in school. You
Mm,
had your curriculum, you had a book. It's kind of like what a coach is like in the right coaching program. It's a guide to help you along the way where you're not just filling out, oh, let me try this. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, I think I've seen her do this. Oh, that didn't work. It's having that guidance. Another thing that a good coaching program is going to have is community,
mm,
having and finding like-minded people like yourself that are going you're not in this alone, that are going through the same things you're going through. And it's okay to make friends. Everybody's not your friend. But at the same time, in the community, you're finding and learning about different scenarios, different things that people go through. So that when you come up against this problem or when you're faced with this, I remember so and so in that group was talking about this, and this is what she did to get on the other end of that, or this
mm,
is what she was thinking. It starts to help you to prepare yourself for that. It's having the right coaching program is helping you to from the unknown, so
mhm,
that you don't have the unknown, and which is super important because that's part of growing in entrepreneurship. Is so much of the unknown that we don't know, and that's what ruins it for us
mm.
because we don't
Yeah.
really know what we don't know. And
Mhm,
unfortunately, when you don't know what you don't know, it can cost you more in the long run. So having that right
mm,
is giving you the right structure and the right guidance you need, kind of like a class. And I think
uh,
a lot of people need that. More people need coaches in their business for their
mhm.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that you've seen, so we've talked about some setbacks. Let's talk about some wins. We're not gonna say anybody's name, but like what are some of the successes beyond like I know you've done a lot of success around like with our solo practitioners, the financial forecasting and all the financial services. With our group practice, we got contracts, employee handbooks, like all those things. But what are some of the wins that these people are probably looking for? Because sometimes they're like, all right, it's good that they gave me the setbacks, but like how they winning? How much money people making? So what are some of the things that maybe even have blown your mind? Like, damn, you did that last month, you did good. Oh, wait, I can't hear you. You on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, my headset died. Um, I had one client that because of the way we structured her business and her finances, she brought in six figures that year, still
Mm,
paid herself and everything. She had over $22,000 saved up in her business
what?
after all was said and done after a year. And it's like we look back at it and I'm like, okay, you made this, you spent this, you paid yourself this in payroll. And then she's like, oh, I still got my savings. I still got the CEO fund. I have money left over my expense account because I teach you that even though you have an expense account, we put in so much money in it, that don't mean you got to spend it every month.
Yeah.
You have a payroll account, you put so much money in it, that don't mean you got to pay yourself that big amount every month. You
Mhm.
got to think about those times in your practice where, summertime, everybody's summertime fine. They don't need services. They outside. Come September, they realize they didn't like them people. They back inside. They need to talk to people. In the same way in the wintertime, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, they're out with family. They don't have time to come to their sessions. But come January with their New Year's resolutions, they breaking down again. They need
Yeah.
help. They need guidance. Some other wins that we've had, growing into a private practice, not a private practice, going into a group practice.
Mhm.
I've actually had two people to actually take my 9 to 5 exit program and actually wait and go through the prompts. And when they left their 9 to 5, all in all, and I won't give what they had money in because I'm not going to give my strategies up, but they
Yeah.
had over 47 and 31 and some change $1,000 saved
Oh
up.
wow. That's dope.
So, and minimum bills, they were able to roll into their private practice successfully. And I've
Mhm.
had one to actually take the program. The last one that took the program, she realized she was not ready.
That. That.
She thought she was. She was like, I'm just going to transition over because the time I'm spending in my 9 to 5, I can spend that time in my practice seeing more clients, bringing in and making that money. But when we went down there, her finances, it's not just your business finances. You now have to look at your personal finances, even though they're
Mhm.
separate. And then she was like, oh, I'm not even making enough now to cover my bills. So these 3 to 4 months that you was going to do to ramp up, you just going to go under the belt even more. No, we're
Yeah.
going to put together a strategy to help you pay some of these bills off, kind of get back even, Steven, and then we
Mm.
can talk about you leaving your 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's good. And I know you had mentioned a few times. I just wanted to highlight this is the importance of paying yourself, especially in the beginning. Because some therapists are like, "How much should I pay myself?" And I'm like, "You can talk to the money team about that." I don't know because some of y'all just be even charging people random numbers. You know what I'm saying on your caseload. So now you got to
Mm-hmm.
find the average. That's on you. But I will tell you when your price is too low. But I will not tell
Right.
you that your price is too high. However, like one of the things that this is when I did not have coaching is, I had a 9 to 5 job. And so I used it to my advantage, getting paid from at one point 60,000 up to like 130,000 from the government or state. Is I said, okay, I don't actually need the money, which is where I think a lot of people make the mistake. Is
Mm-hmm.
that, and I know Shay talks about that, like people start living off of the extra money, not looking at it as a like one of these about to go away though, in a couple of months if you leave. And I didn't do that because I had a mortgage. I had student loans. I'm like, I'm not playing with these people. And so what I started doing is just getting in the habit of paying myself even $100 every Friday, like something as a reward. Or like if all of my clients that whole week was like $1,000, I'm like, well, let me give myself 10%. I don't know where I came up with these numbers. I'm not saying that these numbers are correct, but all I'm saying is that you do want to get in the practice, even if it's $5. So if you got a
Mm-hmm.
job, practice paying yourself, because I can tell you hands down, there's been plenty of times in my business over the last like 10 to 12 years where I've did seasons of not getting paid because something wasn't set up correctly. Because as you grow, the same strategies that I even used last year doesn't work right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I have to go and get more help
Mm-hmm.
because your business is going to evolve. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you wanted to add to that in terms of the importance of paying yourself, because a lot of people don't, and then they don't track their numbers, and then they leave their job and realize everything you're saying, but it's too late.
So how would you like it if your 9 to 5 didn't pay you? You're gonna be one disgruntled employee, right? A disgruntled business owner has a disgruntled business. A disgruntled business suffers. A suffering business makes less money. A less money business becomes no business at all, which equals no money. You're working. You're not working for free. Pay yourself something. Even if you're just using your 9 to 5 money, and I would say stack, don't spend both pockets. Either you're going to live off this practice money that you're doing, or you're going to live off this 9 to 5 money. If you have this 9 to 5 still going on, gift yourself a little token. Maybe it's just your nail money, you know?
Mm,
It's just
mm,
your nail and your hair money. All the rest of that money that you can normally pay yourself 1,000 or 2,000 extra a month, I want you to put that money up, because if your goal is to potentially leave your 9 to 5, now you're saving, and
mhm,
you're not deep in back in pocket like, oh, now I got to figure out a way to save $32,000 or $38,000 before I leave. No, put that money away, because
mm,
if you got this 9 to 5, more than likely, prayerfully, it's paying you enough. Probably not too much, it depends on the economy. It's paying you enough, but this should be able to take care of your main bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Gift yourself from this practice while it's building up, and don't spend all that money. Do your
Mm-hmm.
expenses, pay your contractors if need be, save up for your taxes. What you would pay yourself or could pay yourself, whether it's 30, 20, 40%, whatever that reasonable salary could be, if you don't need it, don't use it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying if you don't want it, this is a one. If you don't need it, right? You
Mm-hmm.
need teeth to chew, right? You need money to pay the mortgage or the rent, right? You don't need money for some new shoes.
Mm.
You got 72 shoes in there, and them shoe boxes going up in there. You don't wear half of them because you
Look,
work.
and I gave you a thumbs up.
You working from home, and you don't even have on shoes right now because you sitting at your desk with some footies on and a blanket while you talking to me and Dr. TK.
Look, everybody like, how she see me? How she know?
But it's true though. Dr. TK can have on some footies right now. You wouldn't even. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
TK can have on
Today
some
is, I only got on shoes
footies.
because I just came in the house. Okay, because I would straight up have on my little white IKEA slippers for $2.
What your client goes, oh, I can't talk to you today. You got on socks. You don't even have no shoes on. How you sitting there with a jacket on and some beautiful jewelry and you just got on some socks?
Mm.
You don't need them shoes right now. Save that money. It's your birthday. Go buy you some shoes. I get that. It's Christmas. You want to buy some. You want to gift yourself something. But just, oh, I need these. No, you don't. You don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also learning when you're starting to save and work in those two. It's also learning your needs from your wants from your this can wait till later.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look at your finances, I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to take your last 60 days of finances. I say 60 instead of 30 because sometimes, we paid that bill earlier. We paid it at the end of the month, which really crosses over this month. So we're about to forget about it. So take the last 60 days. I want you to take all those numbers and put them into 3 columns.
Mm.
Needed, that's your mortgage. That's your food. That's your rent, kids' tuition if it's private school. Want, sorry, nails and hair is want, okay? Buy later, the new LV collection that just came out for swim and summer, that's a buy later. You don't need that right now. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in those columns and really look at your numbers. And from there, you can start the budget and really know what you can do.
No, that's good. Put in the comment box if this is helpful. I know it's like a 15-second delay. Also put in if you have any, they're laughing at your Louis Vuitton thing. Also put in if you have any questions that you would like to ask. Because technically this is the last, I'm gonna say, scheduled public live stream for the bootcamp experience. I always like to pull in somebody to talk about money. Because it's like a catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, it's like people come and watch it live or replay because we talking about money. But then when they get here, they like, now damn it, I didn't know you was about to just blow my bubble. You know what I'm saying? Like burst my bubble. But we want to set y'all up for success. And I know this topic that I'm about to say has been going around a lot nowadays on social media, but it should have happened a long time ago. In terms of actually me and Shayla, the support coach, we saw it with a nail tech on Instagram. So the nail tech had said, I'm about to unfriend all of my past mentors. And I was like, ooh, what's she talking about? So I'm reading her caption, right? And so it was a reel, and it was like the hook that she put. So in the caption, it was very accurate. Some people get so far in terms of people who are mentors or coaches. Some people get so far from where they've come from that they forget that a lot of people may be still new to them over, throughout the year. And they forget to share the hard journey. Mm-hmm. So then what tends to happen is if you're not paying attention, whether you like it or not, therapists are smart people, but we still human. We get caught up in the cycle of being attracted to the 1%, meaning the 1% that people choose to share with you on Instagram. Because unless somebody uses Instagram for a journal, you don't know if they really got like the rented jets, and you feel me? And so you make assumptions and then you create this narrative. And so I liked what she talked about because it just goes to show that a lot of people are not going to tell you their journey unless you probably ask, and some of them still won't tell you everything that's applicable to what you need to hear. They will just share what is possible, and I'm not about to do that. Like, I will share with you what's possible, but I'm about to share with you this hard ass work that needs to happen. Because if it's in my program or your program or anybody else's program, again, as a professor, I do have a pet peeve. And one of my pet peeves are, as grown ass people that got degrees who can sit on the couch, we need to know what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. And like I said, over the last 4 days, I don't want nobody joining my program. I don't care if it's $10. I don't want you signing up for nothing I got if you ain't willing to do the work. If you just want to show up to class and say, I want to prepare for the test, well, shit, get out of my class. Like, drop out. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that with business coaching because now you done made an investment that you're locked in for 12 months.
And you're going to pay me.
Take your time. Take your time choosing a coach. But when I say take your time, I don't mean if you know something is what you desire and can get, like right now, and you're willing to do the work, get it. But I also will err on the side of caution. Like I said yesterday, some of y'all actually need to go to either therapy, because you can't trust people. And our program ain't gonna work for you if you can't trust people, because I need you to talk to us. Or you can't trust yourself as an entrepreneur. And we can help you with that because we can build up your confidence as you do the work, but you have to still let us in. So I don't want to looky-loos no more. I'm done with that. So any other parting words that you would like to share? Because we have three different groups of people. We have people who have not started at all. So I think the whole 9 to 5 chat was really, really important for them. We have the people who are part-time. So as a recap, you said they really need to pay attention to their numbers and not live off of they need to live off one stream of one money and stack the rest. And then the full-timers are more like just mindset. Are you plateaued for DTA purposes? Do you need additional help? But you still also need to look at your numbers. And so I don't think anybody has any questions. Do you have anything you want to impart based on all of your work with our clients?
I have to say, just like you tell your clients, be honest with yourself. Know what bucket you can fit in. Know when the move is right for you, and better prepare yourself. Stop throwing yourself into situations to fight. Was this fight or flight? Or die, whatever the case is. Stop purposely throwing yourself in those situations. It's not productive. Even though you feel that it may give you that like, okay, I'm gonna throw myself into it, which means I gotta do it, or like this is rock bottom. Like there is no plan B or C. Don't do that, because you're only putting more strain on yourself and your business than actually having a plan and taking your time and doing it right. There's nothing wrong with doing it right. And if you look at the top producing entrepreneurs in whatever their field is, they're going to tell you it took them years. It didn't take them 1 or 2. I've been in this business as a full-time entrepreneur, since the pandemic. So I think I'm on like year 4 or 5 full-time, but it took me time to get to where I am. It's not going to happen overnight. And you can read a book all you want. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, but be honest with yourself and give yourself grace. Give yourself grace to fail. Give yourself grace to fall, but know to pick yourself back up. I'm not going to sing for you. We fall. I'm not going to sing for you, but honestly, give yourself grace, and it's okay. Take your time.
Yeah. I'm glad, as we wrap up, I'm just glad that you said the F word. Fail. Yeah. Because I think that's a word that people are allergic to. And there's a book recommendation. I'm going to recommend it to the world. It's called The Dip by Seth Godin. It is a book that you can listen to in one day if you just go hard. But it talks about the 3 different ways that people, AKA, can fail. And is it truly failure? Or is it that you're paying attention to your business, your efforts and your numbers, and you've hit a cul-de-sac? Like my students have heard me talk about that, because over the last 2 years, I've shut down 3 to 4 programs or streams of income because we've hit a cul-de-sac, for various reasons. And so I am not the entrepreneur that's gonna, and I will not allow you to do it too. If you come into our community, we will call you out in a much loving way. We don't talk at people. I want to be clear. I'm very blunt, but I don't talk at you, because some people think that, and then that keeps them away. No, come on in. We laugh actually more than we And so bottom line is, what is it? Like a cul-de-sac is, let's just say you're in your business and you've plateaued, you're not able to get new clients. Can you utilize, as you mentioned earlier, the resources that you already bought? Do you need extra help? Is there something you can tweak? But if you've done it multiple times and you didn't win multiple times, you didn't see any inkling of progress, because progress can be 1% and somebody throwing the towel. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That's still good though. And so if you're trying to do something over and over again and expecting different results, that is a definition of insanity, right? So you've got to try something different, but allow yourself to fail. This is what we require of our therapy clients. Trust me, I'm your therapist. I know what's best. Go and do this homework assignment. And then it blows up in their face. They're going to tell you about it. It doesn't mean they stop therapy. It just means you give them another homework assignment. That's it. And so be okay with failure, because I know therapists sometimes are perfectionists. And that came directly from our clients, by the way, in our last meeting. They know that they are perfectionists. They overthink, and they said, I'm at my capacity. And I'm like, capacity is a choice. You chose to fill your schedule like that. So we're here to help. I know you already have your Instagram handle up. Is that the best way that they can check out your services? Because we also have you linked up in the description box.
That is the best way, through Instagram. On there, if you click the link in the bio, I got 3 more links to put up there. They're not on there. If you click the link in the bio, you can book a call with me. You can see some of the different services, view my website. I have some the freebies I got to reload. That's what they were.
Okay.
So give me like 10 minutes. The freebies will be up there, different things that you can use and look at for your business. And just stay in tune, follow me, because I am getting back to I haven't been doing it. I'm getting back to my marketing and posting. So I do post information on there about your bookkeeping, about your business structure. One thing that people forget when they're building their practice is the human resources piece. You're not HR people. You are business people and you are therapists. Leave HR to me. Trying to keep you out of jail and trying to keep us but different pieces on there. So follow. If you have questions, ask the questions, book a session. I'd rather you book the 15-minute session and ask me a quick question. I'd rather you sign up for a monthly service subscription. I'd rather you come for the profit plan. See me in November for your profit plan. Everybody loves my profit plans. I love doing them. I build them from scratch, and it's awesome. It's a really great experience. Profit plans. See me for your profit plans. The books will start opening for that in, I want to say, September. I'm going to open them in September this year and start getting them done early, because I was backed up last year. You need to know your numbers. Super, super, super important. I'll remind Dr. TK to let everybody know when the book's open for profit plans. But yes, at YSP Solutions on Instagram. If you don't like Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, Marisa Cotton. It is a public profile, and also YSP Solutions on Facebook as well.
Yeah. And I'll just add, for any, because I know we have some DTA students that are watching, just y'all, please remember, we have over resources, like too many, right? So her information, anytime we have a support coach that becomes like an ongoing resource to our program, if you go to the Facebook group, let's just say you don't want to log into Kajabi today. All you got to do is log on your phone to Facebook, and it's pinned in the comment, like at the top. All you got to do is swipe over in the featured section, and her information with her link is right there. So I like to remind students of that, because they come to you at different stages in business, because DTA is like, they can come back as an alumni. So I just wanted to remind them that you can still utilize her resources. And some of y'all, I'm gonna put this out there just because we're entering into the summertime. If you're in DTA, please go back and watch the replay from any of our money coaches. Marisa has a lot of replays in the Q&A portal. We have one under HR, exit 9 to 5, like a little bit deeper than what we went today. You had 2 on entity structure. I mean, we have a lot of resources in there for you. So if you're already a client, please go back to your portal, because it's sitting there waiting for you. That's why you have access, instead of trying to go pay for something else. Like, you have it sitting right in front of you. Okay. So for those of you who are joining DTA, as a reminder, it does close on next Friday. The early bird for you to schedule between June and July, we're going to open up July a little bit. You will have the ability to get on a call with me for 15 to 20 minutes to do your intention setting for your business. But remember, at the bottom of this video, if you're watching on YouTube, we did add a link there for you to get on the calendar for tomorrow morning, Pacific Standard Time. It'll show in your time zone though, or Monday. Now, let me just state what this is. It is not a coaching call, but I'm going to tell people how Marisa heard us talk about it at the conference. What do you have to lose? But let me be clear. This is for people who want to start a private practice or elevate their existing one in the next 90 days, meaning you want to start something with us. If you just want to say, congratulations, great job on a boot camp, man, just DM me or put it on the bottom of this video, because I also want to start teaching y'all, like, if you don't know, like, how to create boundaries around your time. You want to meet with people who are ready to do the work, but they may not have formulated their question, or they may not want to ask their question in public. And we understand everybody has different speaking styles.
Mhm.
but you have nothing to lose for a free 15-minute. Is this program the right fit for me? And let me just say this is where people respect me at the highest level. If it is not, you best believe your bottom dollar, I'm gonna tell you. And I ain't gonna say it like that. I'm gonna just be like, well, based on where you are and what you desire, some of y'all may not need DTA. And then I
Mhm.
may refer you somewhere else, either a mentor of mine or something else I have. And then some of you may be like, it's too early. Just wait. Go talk to Marisa and get her services. Come back in 90 days. And then some of you, it just may be me talking to you about your lack of belief in yourself because DTA is the right fit for you, but you've talked yourself out of it.
Mhm.
There's 3 different people we're talking to here. But bottom line is you won't know that if you're in your head just to get on the calendar. The calendar is free. But if you know you want to join DTA, click the link. Like I said, I'm going to check in with you via email. And then I'm more than likely going to go live stream at some point in the beginning of the week. And then we're going to a mental health conference. So I'm going to take y'all behind the scenes on Instagram. So make sure y'all tap in because I know y'all be liking to travel with me. You feel me? Look, she be with me in Vegas. Online.
I'm pregnant with her. Why you didn't let me know?
Yes. All right. So if you have any further questions and you're part of the bootcamp experience, head over to the bootcamp group and I will see y'all either email NDTA or in the Facebook group. Submit your responses, your takeaways by Sunday night. Our team will be choosing winners by Tuesday. All right. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night and happy Memorial Day, everybody. Bye.